up guys, Cleaning PhD here, and today we have a awesome video for you. This technique is really dependent on your pole. So this is a carbon fiber zero. It's a trad pole. It's got an Unger tip. I like the Unger tips the best, although this one's getting loose on me. But it's basically a telescoping pole here. And I took some sections off just to make it lighter because these windows are not too high off the ground. I'm pairing it with a super awesome tool here. This is a Mormon backflip, or like flick pad. It's got a flick pad, but it's modified to have an Ed-Ray channel here. I believe this is a 14-inch. And this thing is awesome because it can swivel left and right like this. And so this thing has saved me in a lot of situations, and it's amazing. And I'll show you why. Because especially on windows like these commercial windows here, it's going to be great because commercial glass is not quite as touchy as residential glass. You can use this on residential glass, but it's not going to be quite as good. You want to do face to the glass is what they call their nose to the glass. But you can see I'm standing at the ground, and this window is maybe 25 feet, maybe 10 feet off the ground here. And I'm able to hit it with ease, and I'm able to use surprising accuracy on these windows to scrub the windows. Obviously, the same thing applies where you don't want to jam the top of the window with the scrubber. But look at that, especially in a half moon window. This is amazing. And you can get really fast doing this. And you can also get it to where you don't need to detail a whole lot. But apparently, sometimes you need to detail, of course. Then on these casement windows, you can either straight pull the whole entire thing, or you can basically do the top half like this, boom, and boom, and then you can do traditional from there on out. So depending on the glass, I like to utilize that method because if you're coming down all the way here, you really need to bend down super low because the squeegee needs to have the appropriate angle on the glass here. You see that? So what I'm going to do is scrub up the window, and I will use the traditional technique on the bottom of the right window here. And man, look at those windows shine. This this backflip is probably the most clutch tool in the world for window cleaning. This thing, so if you get good at it, you can do quite a lot. You can do residential, you can do commercial, you can do windows 2 stories off the ground. It's not recommended in terms of the best quality clean because it won't be quite as good as either a ladder or a water-fed pole, especially since it takes a lot of technique. These Samurai bucket on a belts also accommodate these kind of flick pads here. You see the channel here is built so it can slide right in there. And that's why I love the Samurai bucket on a belt. I've used this thing for quite a while and it is amazing. Some other more expensive ones I've gotten are not quite as good, like these attachment points kind of are bad and fall off and whatnot. And so on to detailing here. This, I'm smacking the mic here with a towel. This is basically how you detail. You just want to stick a towel on the end. You want to get the top of the window, all the sides, and you can rotate the towel up there. As you're going, you want to rotate it because obviously if you wipe some of the glass, you don't want to basically track that back onto the rest of the glass, or smear it rather. I don't know why, for some reason, if I could just be honest, for some reason doing this video outside, I'm just like embarrassed a little bit to talk. It's like I'm talking to myself. But it's a clean window anyway. Let's move on to the next one, right down the line here. So this is a great technique, and I've got these different angles here that you can do. You can do a, what is it, a 40 degree, a 25, and a 10 degree. I like to stick right at the 25. That's about where you want to be most of the time. And with this, depending on where you are, you don't want to use a whole lot of extra suds. And see here, so we've got up here, we have a bird splatter. On this pole, on the other side, if you flick it over, this little scrub pad conveniently lands right on the back of the handle here. So while the pole is up here, you can flip it around and you can get a good scrub on any part of the window you want. I was wondering for the longest time what that was, but that's exactly what that is. As the squeegee is up here, you simply turn it, you flick it, and you bring it back around and you can scrub. But just be careful about these edges here. You don't want to ding these metal edges into the glass. It won't likely scratch it if it's just like it grazes it, but sometimes it can make a really uncomfortable noise and people think you're gonna scratch their windows. So I've soaped up the window. You can scrub as much as you want. And funny enough, the thing that gets this setup is very dirty windows, and that's what gets a lot of setup. So like the water fed pole, that's the downside of the water fed pole. It is indeed destroyed by very dirty glass, unfortunately. And these ones I can get pretty much with, I'm a tall guy, so I can reach all the way up here. Not too bad. So just another day at the library. Scrubbing the windows. And I could go faster, but you know, the video. You gotta see my techniques here. These are also dirty, so I'll give you guys a little secret. I'm not actually getting paid for this. I don't have any window cleaning jobs right now, not in this. Usually most of the business is from, you know, mid-March to, I mean, this year was December, so the clientele has not been calling for a few months here, but that's pretty expected. But I expect with this weather, because honestly, it's really great weather out, I expect to be getting a few different calls. I've had some inquiries, but you know, it's a new year, a little bit of a slightly different business model. Not a different business model, but you know, you kind of adapt throughout the time, throughout different years. You kind of cut people loose and hopefully try to push on different areas if your relationships are not, you know, where you need them to be, essentially. So sometimes you've been working with somebody for quite a while and the way things have gone is just not, like, it used to be fine for you, but you've kind of grown past that point and you're looking for something more solid. So occasionally that happens. And so also the big downside of this is the detailing, especially if you're doing 2-story windows. It's not always the best angle, and sometimes you literally can't clean the window no matter what angle you do, because it's just like, especially if it's 2 stories up and there's a big lip on the window, it's going to be incredibly difficult to do anything with that. But this setup is basically foolproof. Got some maintenance guys here. So yeah. And it's a perfect day for window cleaning. It's a noticeable thing when your windows are dirty and the sun's shining through. So we'll just fly on these windows here. I'll show you guys kind of the workflow, how long things take, and you guys can get a gauge for if you want to start using the back flip or this kind of setup. This is great for traditional. It's great for residential. Kind of if you're starting out, it's not the ideal for residential, but it's great for tricky windows. It's a great backup plan because it's always good to have another method in the truck of cleaning windows, you know, whether or not you ever use it. Hopefully you don't need to use it because you're you know, your main plan should work. And especially for the commercial here, where detailing is not, it's important. Like, you want the glass to look really good. You want to detail a little bit and sop up, you know, bigger puddles and stuff, but it's not absolutely necessary. So even without detailing, it's going to look amazing. And look at that, that's pretty much how fast you can get with this. I'm using a little bit too much water, I'll admit. Probably people will call me out in the comments that I'm using too much water, but I already know it, so it's no big deal. These drips, you always want to be looking back at your windows, because you know a drip will come out of nowhere. Like I said, it's not life and death when it's commercial. Detailing is not life and death when it's commercial. You just want to basically clean the glass. I had it explained this way. Residential is kind of nose to the glass cleaning, and commercial is, you know, you just get the main picture, because people aren't looking out their commercial glass like they are residential glass, essentially. But it also bigly depends on the customer, because some customers are going to be more of a hassle. Some clients, rather, it could be commercial or residential, if they're nitpicky and they want their windows cleaned a certain way, you can either, you know, disregard that client and kind of get rid of them, not work with them, or you can, you know, charge accordingly and just modify what you're doing, and that's no big deal. Charging accordingly. In general, like, residential is going to be more time intensive than commercial, but it's just a rule of thumb. Sometimes there'll be commercial clients that are exceptionally strict, you know, but it's not always the case. But as you can see, this setup is quick. I'm flying. I could have this whole building done, you know, even with all the extra scrubbing I'm doing, I could have this whole building done pretty quickly. I'd say inside and out, one person, maybe 45 minutes for the outside, 45 for the inside. You've got to be quick though. And also there's removable grids on the inside, which are quite the killer. The killer of time. Those removable grids can really turn jobs into a much longer job than you anticipated. Things like that, like, that's why I just love jobs that are in, out, and screens, or even no screens, just inside and out, rather. That is the ideal. You don't have to worry with grids, don't have to worry about the grids, don't have to worry about the screens. Just inside and outside windows is fantastic. Oh. And you gotta be respectful of the people, of course. But yeah, this combo essentially, I pretty much cannot understate this combo. You don't even need really a water-fed pole at all if you're utilizing something like this. You really don't need much of anything other than this setup. Although this is, I mean, it's great to start out with, but eventually you want to start upgrading. But this is all this setup, I mean, the pole is the main thing in terms of expenses. That's going to be kind of tough. I think the pole is like, it's at least, I think it's like 200 bucks for a, is it a 30 foot? It's about 200 bucks, which is pretty expensive, honestly. And so on this one, I'm going to work it a different way. Before I was doing top bottom, but I'm just going to do side to side on this, meaning I'm going to clean the half moons first and then move down to the bottom. And that's what you normally want to do. You can work the top and then the bottom, because you don't want to be dripping on anything on the bottom panes, of course. And the sun's beating on these guys. They're just a bit hot in the sun here. But it's no problem for us, because we're pros out here. And it's a beautiful day. And sometimes if this does not, if you can't find a spot to sneak it in, you can just close one of these clamps on it. The main thing is just this bottom lip here. I think that's the main thing you want to detail. Is that bottom lip. Let's see if I can still reach these. Oh yeah, easy. We are cruising. We're not getting every single bit of hard matter off here because I don't think these windows have been cleaned in a while, so they just need several maintenance cleans before they get, you know, up to perfection. But they're dang near perfect out here. Or they're getting much cleaner. Quite shiny. Oh, man, that's tough. Sometimes these holsters really just hold on to the bottles. And so I don't know if you guys seen in my previous videos, I've had a squirt bottle with me before, but I actually would not recommend that. The squeezy bottle is much better than the squirty bottle. And that is because, dun dun dun, the squirty bottle mists literally the whole room. Sometimes, not always, but the mist goes everywhere. It goes on the walls, and you don't want to be spraying stuff, so you just want to be able to get your scrubber wet without, you know, spraying a bunch of other stuff. So that's my 2 cents about it. And I can't tell, I really couldn't tell if these windows have been cleaned or not. It looks like, I don't know if they do have them cleaned. They're not, they're just a bit oxidized. They're not too bad though. But yes, it's so much easier making videos in the summer than in the winter. So this time we're gonna use less water. The thing is, when the sun's beating down, you're forced to use a bit of water at least. But Perfect. Well, there's basically a good introduction of the Mormon backflip here. If I can reiterate, this thing is a gold tool to have in the back of your truck. Super amazing telescoping pole. It's light. It conquers anything commercial. Essentially, anything under 2 stories that's commercial, this thing should be in your truck. All storefront work and everything should utilize this pole, because this pole will get you out of some pretty bad situations, and it'll get you cleaning plenty of glass. So guys, this has been Cleaning PhD, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, give me a like and a subscribe. This is Cleaning PhD. Once again, let me know in the comments what kind of stuff you want to see next. I'm going to be cleaning more glass, showing more window cleaning videos, technique videos, home washing videos. I'm super excited for this spring, this summer. It's going to be a blast, guys. Can't wait to keep making more videos, keep showing you how to do what I do, because this is quite awesome, quite frankly.